So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And regarding Mr. Beast, Graham Stephan, and comedian Bobby Lee of Tiger Belly, I wanted to talk about some of the things that I have learned regarding some of them. So, as usual, I am Earthling, yada yada yada. I have lost close to 100 pounds at my heaviest to now, and I've kept it off more or less for about 5 years. Quit smoking. I have 2 degrees. I take care of my uncle who has dementia. It's been a very enriching experience, and I was in the Army Reserves, and that's it for me. So I was talking about Mr. Beast, Graham Stephan, and Bobby Lee, comedian Bobby Lee. And all of these guys have things that aspects of their lives that I've thought about a bit, and some that, I used to follow myself, and eventually others that I have had to make sure that I don't continue in similar footsteps, kind of thing. So, with respect to Mr. Beast, he's a giant YouTuber out there. I only started hearing about him a couple years ago, and then I read this article about how he tried starting up different YouTube channels from when he was really young. Well, was it 12? I think he got his break at 19 or something, where he counted this huge number of continuously, without sleeping. And I went and I looked at the video, and it was crazy. It's this huge, long video. I don't know if it's 12 hours long in breaks of 12 hours long. Part of it is sped up because YouTube has a maximum limit as to the size or length of video that you can upload. So he had to speed up part of it in order to fit it into a YouTube video that could be uploaded. And just the history of Mr. Beast is really kind of inspiring, because it shows you that, hey, if you try really, really hard, you can achieve just phenomenal YouTube success. And that's something that's similar to comedian Bobby Lee. The fact that he was in the comedy industry for so long, and he's doing well as a podcaster, and that's fueling other things. Graham Stephan as well worked really hard to achieve the success that he had in real estate, as well as the success that he has had on YouTube. Bobby Lee as well. I mean, his girlfriend had to push him in that direction, but it eventually happened, and they're all very successful. I think the negative part of it, though, is that I listened to part of what Mr. Beast said, and it could have been a joke, but he's like, what I understood was, in his ideal world, he'll just die making YouTube videos for the rest of his life. And I thought, that doesn't really seem too great. I mean, it might seem great to him, seeing as he's in that vein, but it seems like there's so many other things that you could probably do in life that might be more fulfilling. YouTube kind of seems like an addiction now. Then, of course, there's Bobby Lee, who his girlfriend says, and maybe she was exaggerating, up to 16 hours playing video games, not moving. And I have been there. I've certainly been there where, I was on a video game once where it was real time. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's this real, not good graphics or anything like that. And one of the people that I was playing against, he said to me when we became closer and we talked, he was like, it seems like you never went to sleep, because, no matter when I sent an attack on your town or your village, you were doing something. And yeah, that was not a very good time for me. I was almost never going to sleep, and it was not healthy, and it was not good at all. And if I go back to Mr. Beast for a second, I wanted to exercise. I wanted to be fit. I wanted to, and there've been several times where I exercised to the point, especially since I wasn't sleeping properly, to the point where I injured myself and I kept going. And then, my arm really wouldn't work that well anymore. And injuries that I had just were not healing because I was so persistent. And also, if I, can harken back to Grim Stephan for a second, he is really, put in the grind. But I remember his assistant, Jack, is kind of like, what do you really, really want out of life? What's a big dream that you have? And he just wants to have an aquarium at his house. That's pretty much it. And maybe to travel a little bit. That's all that he wants, with all of the millions and millions of dollars that he has and that he is continuing to make every year. That's what he wants from life. Basically, to have an aquarium and maybe travel a bit. And, of course, make more money. Now, between those three things, those three people and those three things, Bobby Lee is, his girlfriend is questioning whether or not she might just be his roommate because of his incessant. It's not like they don't have great fun times. I mean, he was talking about a movie that they watched together. But, if your girlfriend of 8 years is talking to the ex that you bring on the show and they realize, wait, you play just as many video games as you did when you were with the ex more than 8 years ago to now. You watch as much porn, you do so many different things that, So it's kind of like, I mean, so, what's the whole point of me bringing up these three people? Well, it's be careful of the habits that you make in life. I mean, all right, with respect to Grim Stephan, I was kind of like that. I was a bit like, you know what? I'm just going to make money and eventually I am just going to keep my head down until I get rich. I mean, that's Grim Stephan's attitude. He's like, I don't know how long this YouTube thing is going to last. So I'm just going to keep at it because, one day it just might disappear. And that's true. It's possible. It can happen. But really, don't you just want other things from life? Do you want kids? Do you want a family? Do you want your kids to be able to enjoy some of the money that you've spent in life? You and your wife, etc.? I mean, all right, I'll give you this example. I've traveled a bit. And you know what? That was never my plan. It was never my plan. Some of the traveling that I've done, a large amount of the traveling that I've done, I have to admit, was because my sister and a friend of mine just kept bugging me about it. Let's go here, let's go here, let's go here with mom, let's go there. And I would never have done it on my own. I would have waited until retirement or something like that and hopefully be rich before I went to a lot of the places that I've been to. But my sister bugged me and bugged me and bugged me to the point where, I took all the money in my bank account and I'm like, this is going to be done by the time I come back. But if it's done, she's not going to be able to bug me about traveling anymore. So let's spend it. And that's what I did. And that's some of the places that I've been to was a result of that. And I was just like Grim Stephan, And my point is, learn how to make habits in your life, new habits, and learn how to break old habits. Like how I managed to change my life in a way to lose and maintain the weight loss that I did achieve. Like how I learned to quit smoking. Like how I learned to start exercising. Like how I learned to try to sleep more. because it's beneficial to me. I feel that a lot of these things have been as a result of me wanting to be better, and me, thankfully, in many instances, especially when it comes down to travel, for example, me kind of just going ahead and acquiescing to the requests, the demands of other people. You know, I think of someone like Warren Buffett and other like billionaires. And it wasn't Warren Buffett who I saw, but I know his wife had the same attitude. Eventually, she left him, not like to divorce, but separated, because she wanted a different life. Because they didn't go anywhere. They didn't do anything. And I guess she wanted something more than out of life than having the ability to do anything, but yet doing nothing. So, if there's anything that I would say about anyone who wants to follow in the footsteps of all of these people, is learn from their mistakes and their failures, and try to realize that, rich people are just as stupid as the rest of us. They just happen to have a lot more money. So learn how to get the money, I guess, or to save the money or to make the money from them, but also learn from other people of how to use your head and enjoy the money in a sustainable way. So that's it for me. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, dislike, share, give any kind of the YouTube feedback. That's normal. And of course, do it in the same vein as if this were your YouTube content. Have a good one. Peace.